Speaking of small brands, Veyer watches. We've got a tool to live by here.
Exciting.
Listeners chime in. They want to know our opinions on things. And this segment is brought to you by Veyer, which you want to know our opinion about watches? Boom, buy a Veyer. American assembly, beautiful kind of classic aesthetics and durable as you could possibly be.
Take mine surfing every time I go surfing. This thing does not leave my wrist, and it is, just keeps on ticking.
And it's
perfect time.
And it's powered by solar as well, which is kind of incredible.
I love that.
So yeah, you got to appreciate that. 6 hours of sunlight will run the watch for 6 months, which is unbelievable.
Even the self-winding ones, like you put that down for a couple days, man, you got to reset the date and everything. It's really annoying.
It's a bit of work.
Not with a Veyer.
No, this thing, you put it down for a month, put it back on, it's still running. So anyways, if you want a Veyer watch, which by the way, you should get some for Christmas, do it as Christmas gifts. We have a 15% promo code, but guess what? I think the site is 20% off right now in relation to Thanksgiving, Black Friday. So just get the 20% discount. That beats our discount. But Veyer is spelled V-A-E-R. Veyer watches, free USA shipping, easy returns, waterproof warranty. Here we go. Listener line.
Jazz David, just a question for the Grit. So I've been buying a couple boards from my buddy who is starting out a shaping business in Huntington. Makes great boards. I've really enjoyed my first one and ordered a second one. On the first board, he kind of messed up the coloring, got the color I wanted, but I wanted to do deck and rails, and so he did bottom and rails. I'm like, all right, whatever, not a big deal. So second board I order, I again asked for deck and rails colored, and again he gave bottom and rails colored. And I figure, I don't know if I want to tell him or not, just because, a board's a board, operates great, isn't exactly what I ordered, but whatever. But on the other hand, should I tell him to make sure he doesn't make the mistake with other customers? I don't know. I would appreciate your advice.
Touchy.
Oh, so touchy. So touchy. I'm going to say, don't tell him. I'm going to say, let him go out and live or die on his own. I'm going to say, if his board is good enough, and if the customer comes in and says, hey, you're not getting this right, let them deal with it, right? What do you say?
It depends. Is his buddy inept?
Yeah,
is the shaper inept, or is he an artist?
Good question.
Because if he had an artistic ambition,
he knows better than you in some way.
Correct.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then you got to let the artist let his freak flag fly. And I have a freak flag artist friend named Maurice Cole. Yeah. And I ordered a surfboard from him one time. I think it was, you might have been there. We were at the Surfing Heritage and Culture Center, and he opened up the back of his car and he had these boards in there, and I was like, dude, this thing is sick. What is this?
Yeah.
Like, can I get one of these? And he's like, yeah, definitely. And then 2 months later, when I got the board, I was like, this is not even the same model. I'm like, I don't remember the model name of what he told me, but I remember
not this.
This is a different one.
Yeah.
You know? And what did I do?
Surfed it.
Did not say a word. Loved the board.
Yes, exactly.
Surfed the board. Loved the board.
And that is exactly it. But either way, if your friend is inept, you telling him that and it's not going to fix anything. He's inept.
That's a good point.
If you change his freak flagness, if you tinker with that, maybe his magic, and you saying something wrecks that magic, right?
Yeah.
You let him go sink or swim. Let him leave the nest and fly or drop dead.
I agree. I think, and just in general with a surfboard shaper specifically, I'm all for not giving much direction.
Yeah.
You go in there, you kind of tell them maybe what the gap in your quiver is or what your general thought is.
Yeah.
You leave it in their hands.
Totally. I mean, I think in terms of shaper, they know best almost always. And for me, it is the most specific I'll get is like, I want to just paddle into mushy waves or whatever. Like, give me basically more foam, less foam,
I've heard horror stories of customers from Shapers being like, oh, the customer wanted a specific thing in a specific orange. And then I made the board for them. They came to pick it up and it was a different tint of orange than they were expecting. And so they didn't take the board.
Nasty.
And I'm just like, are you kidding
Color.
me? The slightly different
Nasty.
color of orange, right? So that's the worst possible scenario. But I think the best possible scenario is leave it in the Shaper's hands.
Yeah.
Even asking, I mean, his example specifically, I wanted deck and rails color. I think that's too much direction.
I think so too. Like,
I could see, hey, I like this other board that you did that had this aesthetic, but keep that in mind, but do you.
let the artist be.
Let the artist be.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I have a bro who's shaping boards. Well, almost always it comes with a bro deal.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the scourge of the surfboard industry, is that shapers have to get into the business by selling surfboards to friends, and therefore they're never getting paid the full full freight for the board. And then how do you grow your business on running everything on a discount? And they find themselves in this perpetual cycle. And so if you are the bro getting the bro deal, then you extra can't open your mouth.
Complain. You keep that mouth shut.
That's how I feel about it.
Tool to live by.
Tool to live by, brought to you by Veyer Watches. VeyerWatches.com. Enjoy those holiday sales.